And so
I helped grow you up.
You know what? See, you always gotta take credit.
Because you start eating salads, you start eating yogurt,
and now
you start eating fish.
And now I'm trying to grow you up because you don't be making no salads up in here. like
True.
So
but I will eat a salad.
But it's so anyway, we're turning over not really a new leaf, but trying some new stuff. And I think it's sticking. I kind of like it. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young. And we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all. Let's get into it.
Hey, honey. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Off to a good start.
I know. I feel like I'm having a real productive day today.
Yeah. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah. I spent an hour making salad.
Meal prepping.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so salad jars in the mason jar. And I love this salad. But it takes some work. Like, it seems simple, but you gotta cut up everything. You gotta cook the chicken, and then you gotta lay everything out, and then you have to put it in the right order. And
when you said you were gonna do that, I mean, I like salads. First I was like, okay, whatever. But then you did them, and I think the toughest meal of the day for us is lunch. Because we're usually busy. Working between calls or meetings. So lunch is the harder thing to figure out. So when we had them, and I would just go grab one, I would, throw it on the plate, and I eat. I was like, oh, the salad was good. Mm-hmm. And two, it was really easy and convenient. So, I appreciate the effort that you put into making it.
Yeah.
I gave you a little help, but it was primarily you. So I just wanted to say appreciate it.
Aww. My dad is vegetarian, and I ate salads a lot while I was little or growing up. And there was a point where I was like, I'm sick of this junk. I don't want no more.
You took a hiatus on salads for a long time.
I want to say it was something like 10, 15 years. Because I remember when you and I lived in Arizona, we went on a lunch date.
And I would eat salads.
And you were ordering a salad, and I'm like, that's stupid. Like, I mean, who does that? Like, who? I'm not kidding. I was like, who goes to a restaurant and orders an actual salad? And here's why I think like that is
that's
because
funny.
My dad made elaborate salads,
right?
And he would. I mean, it was just full of vegetables. It was beautiful. Like, he made these elaborate salads because that was his primary food. And when I would, I'm like, why would we I want to go to a restaurant and get something else, rather than a salad. And so I honestly, for years, I was like, that's dumb. But you ordered it. And I said, I think it was a milestone birthday for me. And
you woke up and was like, I need to start eating salads.
No, I said I'm gonna be a grown up. Like, I actually, because you look around and it's a lot of people who order salads. I was like, okay.
This isn't our topic for the day.
No, but here's the thing. That was a growth moment.
Yes.
And so
I helped grow you up.
You know what? See, you always gotta take credit.
Because you start eating salads, you start eating yogurt, and you start eating fish.
And now I'm trying to grow you up because you don't be making no salads up in here. like.
True.
So.
But I will eat a salad.
But so anyway, we're turning over, not really a new leaf, but trying some new stuff. And I think it's sticking. I kind of like it. It's just. It's exhausting.
It's work.
Honestly, I'm glad it's over. We have several in there waiting for us.
Right.
So, anywho.
Well, we always, talk about money. I think we talk a lot about money, but, in the context of relationships, that's why we talk about money. But I think today, the relationship has to be at the center of everything. Because without the relationship, the money's never going to work. So... And, we kind of talk about first things first, because I think in relationships, it becomes easy, especially when you have kids or you have a high demand career, it becomes easy to put things ahead of your partner or your spouse, and they become second. And there were a couple seasons, a couple times in our relationship, I was like, hold on now. I feel like I'm getting the leftovers. You go give everything to everyone else, and I'm getting what's left. That's not how this is supposed to work, because if I did that, you will have an issue. And it just prompted us to have some conversation. So, we're going to talk about, first things first.
I'm curious on if you felt that way recently, and that's why you wanted to talk about this subject,
Oh, I don't know.
or if there is an example. Because see, here's the thing. I think that people need to realize that we are real. Like, quite frankly, like, you don't always like the way I move and function and operate, and vice versa. I may not
Mm-hmm.
always like the way you move, function, and operate, or we're we're in that moment. Sometimes it's oil and water,
Right.
and so it's fair. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it is fair, because it's not like me pointing the finger at you
right.
or you pointing the finger at me. It's kind of both of us, because I know from a work perspective, I just dial in, and you ask me something about a personal calendar, I'll be like, I don't know. Ask me about my work calendar, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll be here, here, here. I got this, because I'm dialed in with that. And I know you get frustrated by that, because if it's a work thing, I'm like, boom, I'm there. I'm on it. I'm on my timetables, deadline, whatever it is. And it's like, you ask me something about something we already had planned. Well, such. I'm like, when we decide we're gonna go do such, we talked about this, and I see the frustration that can come from that. It's like so on top of it over here, but you not barely paying attention on this other stuff. And I felt like it's the same way, because like, you're an entrepreneur, self-employed, so you like are locked in with, your business growing, developing it, getting proposals out and contracts and things like that. And, you will ask me a lot of questions, and, try and, we'll work together to navigate, different things. And then it's like, sometimes I may feel like, well, dang, I need the same thing, but you're exhausted at that point, because you've exerted a lot of mental capital. And so I think it just is important to, reassess and say, and that's where I think people go wrong, is because they don't want to reassess and level set. They're like, well, what's wrong? They don't want to be offensive, but sometimes in the wrong, it's easier to find a solution. And it's not like be wrong and just stay there. Be wrong and understand what's going on, or what's behind it, or why you feel the way you feel.
And I think that feeling, like what you just said, is probably where people ought to start. So it's okay to have a check-in. How are you feeling? Or what's going on right now? Or is now a good time? I just think I have, in the last couple of years, I think that question, is now a good time or when is a good time, is something that has really become helpful, because one of the things that I do know about you is that, I mean, I think everybody wants to be heard, but I do think that when it concerns your work and you want to discuss stuff, you want to know that I heard you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's at a time where I cannot give you my full attention, you may feel like I'm not putting you first.
Right. Feel ignored, and
Yeah.
like,
Or not prioritized.
or yeah, whatever you're focused on is priority. And I'm like, hold on.
Right.
King Chris, up in here, like, what's going on?
Yeah, you want to be king of the castle
24/7.
all the
Like,
time.
what's up?
All the time, right?
Put that down.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, leave me alone right now.
I know. It's not. I'm not saying that's right. It's not right.
No, but I think but the point is that I want you to feel heard. It's just, can we do this at this time or another mutually beneficial time versus right here in the heat?
And I think you should probably count yourself blessed, because I think most men aren't big on like communicating. They will shut down and just be like, you know what, boom, gone, and don't want to talk. And I definitely have my version of stonewalling and, oh, it's cool. Yep. Yeah, I'm good. Nah.
That's when I know something is wrong.
It's like, nah, I'm
When
good.
you don't want to talk, I know something is wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I'm straight, I got me,
Yeah.
you know.
But we gonna feel that later, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be some rumble. Some rumble, young man rumble. But it's like, I think, like you said, it's a good point. That feeling is a good point to stop and assess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in relationships, too many people blow by that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we talk about, that's where the story continues to form, because there's this perceived wrong or this perceived injury that you have incurred. And then the next thing somebody says or does adds on to that first injury or insult or, wrong that you received. Then something else happens. Then something. Now you're like 4 or 5 wrongs into something when you could have just said, okay, I felt this way about this thing. Let's address this.
And let's be honest. As a woman, if there are multiple offenses, I'm not eager to get intimate. I ain't gonna even lie. Let's be clear.
I think that's natural. That's the natural inclination for women.
And so but men can be like, all right, come on. Well, I can
Right.
get jiggy anytime. And I'm like, no.
Right. We're just primitive. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Like, girl, don't worry about that. We'll deal with that later. Let's deal with this right now.
And I'm like, dude, I need more.
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to slow down.
And I think it's helpful in relationships. Like we have people ask us, well, what's the key or what's the trick to staying, married long and, having a good relationship? And I say the same thing. And it's very cliche, communication. Because if you don't communicate, those things that are small become things that are big. And what you were just touching on is men and women are very different. Women need to have that emotional connection, and men are just physical. Mm-hmm. And so you have to understand that's why men and women both respond to situations the way that we do. Mm-hmm. And so I think having that, for years, we've told people, we have our reset.
Yeah.
Where we reintroduce ourselves. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Chris.
I'm Ericka.
Right. And that's ridiculous. I've known this woman for almost 30 years. And it's like, why am I introducing myself? Yeah. But because it's something that is so ridiculous, we know that that's a reset for us. And we say, okay, now what's really going on? What's on your mind? And cooler heads tend to prevail when we reset and know that something's off. Whereas if I'm dug in and entrenched because I feel like, I'm not being put first or I'm not getting my needs met, and then you feel offended because I feel that way or you feel the same way about something, all we're doing is digging our heels in, and what ensues is more battle than,
resolution.
Exactly.
So here's the deal. Somebody said years ago to us or asked the question, if you are in disagreement on something or being stonewalled or y'all giving each other the silent treatment or whatever, who should go first to reconciliation?
Ooh.
And the answer to that question is the more mature person. And when you think about it like that, you're like, oh, man, I don't want to
be the bigger person.
I don't want to be the bigger person. And in all reality, like you and I don't argue. That's honestly something that we can say is we don't argue, but we have done silent treatments or
we have dust ups.
We have our dust ups. We lead
and the dust settles, and it's all good.
Right. I mean, we will figure out a way to communicate. But I think the other thing that is at play here is a person will feel like they're put first if their core, love language is being met. So I think you enter the world with this communication is important because quality time is high on your list, and communicating is a part of quality time for you. And so that's a deep felt need. So if I didn't talk to you all day, your love bank is low. Period. but that's not the same for me. If
Right.
you didn't talk to me all day, I'm not gonna feel put off. But
Right, but if I saw dishes that were on the counter and in the sink and never like washed them or didn't empty the dishwasher, or if I didn't do
or
anything
if
that
you
was an
gave me
act of
more
service,
tasks to do, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
you'd be
That kind of
like,
stuff. I'd be like, dude, are you here? You are an
right,
adult. Can
right,
you
because
show me love? You know what I'm
acts of
saying?
service are things that minister to you.
Yeah, and so knowing that about each other has really become a vital part of this whole equation. And I think that that helps me when I'm not fully understanding why you might be in a place, and that can help you understand. Like, there are
Hmm.
times, and I know you get kick in the gear and you do. I mean, you're gonna always do dishes, but if you know, like, she done cooked this whole meal, let me make sure that I help out here. Or lately you've been like going to the grocery store, like, that is, you asked, what do you need from the grocery store? I was like, oh my god, oh my god, that's like amazing. Oh my god, I love it. And then, you know what I said?
And fellas, that opens her up
Right.
for intimacy
Right.
later as well.
Because the other thing, after you said that, I was like, okay, while you gone, I'm gonna vacuum the floor. And because I was like, he doing something for me, I'm gonna do something, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, like, it's this reciprocal effect. And so I think that's also really important when we're considering how someone feels first.
Yeah.
Because the way that you feel first is not the way that I feel first. And we have to consider that before we actually take action.
As
And
you talk about that, it takes me back to how we were told a long time ago, marriage specifically, and I'll say even relationships, it's about giving up your right to be right.
mm-hmm.
Because going into anything, everybody wants to be right, wants to be perceived as, I'm making the right choice, I'm making the right decision. What I want is right. But when you talk about two people, it's not always just about you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the focus off of you and put it on the other person, then it won't be, just not meeting them where they're at and getting what you want. Because you can get everything you want out of a relationship or situation, and the other person never gets what they want. It's not going to last.
Mm-mm.
You might get it for a season, but long term, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start focusing on, okay, well, what do they need? Let me meet their needs, and you're good at thinking the best of people. I'm always like, not so much with you, but other people, I'm always like,
Side eye.
I have, they're suspect.
You don't be trusting people.
Look, God is working on me. I'm a work in progress. But, I think when you focus on the other person and meet their needs, they by default will meet your needs because they see that you're focused on them. Like, I took that off your plate. Well, let me just go to the grocery store. I want to get out of the house, and I can do this to help meet the need that we mutually have. It's not a need that
we both
is
gotta eat.
exclusive to just you. So that's why, in gender roles, it's always this, well, men do this and women do that. And there's some things that around the house that you are not going to do, which I understand. Mm-hmm. And some of those things I don't really want you to do because they won't be to my standard.
Right. That part. Thank
Right.
you. And vice versa. You know what I mean? There are some things that I'm just like naturally inclined to do, or I either get enjoyment or satisfaction out of it. And so
This whole sheet folding bundle thing you do, I'm not doing that.
It's a package.
Right. It's going to almost be ball. Well, it would never be balled up because,
No,
I don't
not
roll
you.
like that. But
No.
it's not going to be this sheet package that you put
I will.
together.
And the craziest thing is, I will put this little bundle together with both the fitted and the flat sheet and the pillowcase. But I hate making up the bed. You tell me, you have me make up the bed, I promise you I will roll around on the floor like a crying 2-year-old because
I just laugh like,
I hate it. I will. I'm gonna be honest.
Calm down. Calm down. You getting worked up.
I will
Calm
be
down.
honest. Let me tell you what I will do. I will pretend like I'm asleep. I will leave the room.
Oh my
I
goodness.
will sit on the toilet for 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Just so you
telling
don't have to make the
I am
bed
telling
up.
I will do the dishes. I will clean a toilet.
And it's not
I
and
will
see,
take the
and you know
dog on a
what?
walk. Do you hear me?
It's not even that serious to me. So I just
Thank God.
5 minutes, boom,
Thank God.
boom.
I don't know why. And
And and making the bed up, like stripping the sheets
oh
and
no, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
oh
Stripping the
okay. Oh
sheets.
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about I hate that. Stripping the sheets and making the bed up. That part
Yeah.
I can't stand.
But you don't like making the bed up in the morning when you get out
I
of it.
don't mind it as much because it's
Yeah.
really not that big a deal. But I will wash the clothes. I will wash
Yeah.
the sheets. But don't have me make that bed up again. I will now. I will go weeks with some clean sheets and they're not folded in my little bundle.
That's true.
But I like folding. I like the bundle, so I will do
I
it
think what's
anyway.
funny. I think what's funny is, on a side note, there's a lot of couples out there who have stripped their bed of the sheets, and you ain't make it right up, and you went off and did other stuff, or at work, or came back, and you ready to go to bed, and you get to the bed and it's not made up.
Mm-mm.
That's the
It's the
worst
worst.
feeling
And that's what I'm saying. I will sit on the toilet for 20
when
minutes
it's time to
pretend I
go
don't
to
know what's
sleep.
going on.
Right? I be like, and I say, what's going on out here? Get out of here.
I'll be like, come on, dog, let's go for a walk. I'll be like, I don't hear him. La 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 la
Right.
la 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 la. Mm-mm. No.
But
Mm-mm.
but yeah, I think that's just it's hilarious to me,
It is.
honestly. So
But I think I can appreciate that we can laugh about it. That and there are things that you probably won't do. You're a good cook. You're a decent cook. You just don't do it a lot. And
yeah.
so it's like sometimes I'm like, all right, honey, I need you to cook this. Can you make dinner tonight or whatever? But that's not your first inclination. Is what are we having for dinner?
Right.
That just isn't how that goes. Your first inclination is breakfast. Let's be clear. But dinner,
It's my
mm-mm,
favorite meal.
mm-mm. So I mean, but I think when we're talking about what people are willing to do, that's a part of how you feel like you're being cared for. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
because I think if you feel these ways, you feel like you are being deprioritized. And one thing we haven't touched on is like, especially when you have children, and children really can become the center of attention and the area of focus, because in a lot of relationships the kids come first, because they've got to be, cared for, they've got to be taken places, they've got to be fed, they have homework, and like the relationship can be secondary to the kids, and I'm sure that creates a lot of contention. And one thing I always told our children when they were little, and even now as adults, I say, look, your mama was here before you, and your mama gonna be here after you. So she's 1st.
Mm-hmm.
You all are second. And I've maintained that mentality, but I don't think that is standard in a lot of relationships, because mothers are nurturing and caring, and they focus in on the kids, and then some of that attention oftentimes will come away from the husband or the
Especially
spouse.
when they're little, especially when
Right.
they're infants and babies and toddlers and stuff, and they require quite a bit from a parent or an adult
And
in the
what have I
house.
always told you about kids?
I don't know. What have you said?
Kids are not stupid.
Oh yeah, they just short.
Exactly. Kids are not stupid. They're just short. They are short
Mm-hmm.
humans. They are just short
Mm-hmm.
people. Because some of the times I see kids do something, I was like, see, that's a little grown up right there.
Yeah.
That's not a kid. That's a little person.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because kids aren't stupid. They're just short. So
Yeah.
kids will survive. Kids are resilient, and I'm not saying to neglect your kids or anything like that, but you have to keep things in the proper perspective and context when you talk about maintaining your relationship. So either partner doesn't feel deprioritized and something else is put ahead of them.
And that's what we had that conversation when we had our first child, and you just flat said you were unhappy because of that. Like I was super mommy. Like I was doing a whole lot more for the kid than I probably was for you. And we just had
And
a
I love
candid
my baby.
Yeah.
I love my babies.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think the other part of that is it's easy for mom to prioritize the needs of the child and not realize that it is causing a rift in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship or in how you feel loved and paid attention to. Um and those
This stuff is complicated.
it is, but I think in this regard, when it comes to prioritizing your spouse, like it's just a daily thing. So for today or for this week, how can I make sure that you feel like a priority? Um and I think that that's important. I'm going to tell you the one thing that I think gets in the way quite a bit in terms of priority. Just in general, I think everybody
Okay.
could probably have this
What is
issue.
that?
The phone.
Oh, this is a new thing. A newer.
I think it's been around for a long time.
Yeah. You
I
talking about
think
scrolling.
just whatever you're doing on your
Yeah.
phone. Whatever you're
Yes.
doing on your phone, because you play games on your phone. And
Yeah.
while that's not inherently bad, it's just when we're at dinner, if you're on your phone,
Yeah.
I don't feel like the priority. Like, are we having a conversation or are we not? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And
And
I try and be
so,
intentional about like situations like that where I'm not on my phone.
but it happens, right?
Yeah.
And so it's easy to allow the phone to be the thing that's in the way. And so sometimes it's like, hey, can you put it down? And to not take offense,
Right.
because if I have your full attention, then we can actually, you'll remember what it is I'm
Yep.
talking about. You'll be able to make some great input.
Hold on. This sounds like you talking about just me.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm just clarifying.
I don't have no other reference.
Oh, I'm just saying you be on your phone too.
I didn't say I wasn't.
I was just making sure that in this scenario, you understand, get off your phone because I be seeing you scrolling shopping,
Yeah, and I ain't bought nothing.
and I be like, what packages should I expect this week? Because packages don't come here for me.
Oh Lord, anywho, the phone is a thing that can get in the middle,
Yes.
because if you don't feel like you are
Whether you
being
playing
paid
games
attention
or
to,
shopping, sometimes you need to put the phone down.
it don't matter what you're doing. Looking at, and I share my findings on my phone with you. My little reels.
If you send me one more Instagram reel, that's all you share because you send me a ton of Instagram
It's
reels. I'm like,
cute. The cute little ones with the cartoons and the little bears,
right.
and they hug each
I'm
other,
playing games though.
and it's just so cute. It's funny. Oh my gosh. And the funny ones are the best.
Oh my
But
god! But you know what's funny is they don't be funny to me, and you be like busting
are
a
you
gut.
serious?
I just be laughing because it's so funny. Your response to some of them,
My
it's
humor is
funny,
different than
right? I
yours.
just be looking like because you see, I be watching stuff and
You
people
got
getting
your
hurt and
Facebook show.
injured.
You got your Facebook show too.
Yeah, it's all good.
All I'm saying is the phone could
It can be
be a
an
wedge that
obstacle.
is in the
Yes,
middle. And it is
absolutely.
okay. I think sometimes it's okay to have ground rules around if you have date night or quality
Yep.
time, or you're snuggled up, or first thing in the morning, whatever it is you feel like you need to do. And like, the ground rule could be, hey, when I say I need your undivided attention and you put the phone away, sometimes we flip each other's phones, and that ain't nice. It's
You
not
know what I
nice.
started doing as a precursor to that? I started putting my phone on do not disturb. I never used to use that function or feature on my phone very, very often, but now I do that more. Do not disturb. And when I put it on, I'm mindful. I just like slide my phone in my pocket because I want to be focused and I want to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never want you to feel like, I don't have focus on you and, your needs aren't being met, because it's easy, with the pace of life to allow those things to get in the way.
Especially
So,
during a meeting, like a money meeting, or you're trying to figure out some travel, for instance. I mean, for us, that's kind of our
yeah.
world, or we're talking to our kids. You know, I just, dinner time in particular, I think is a really good time, because a lot of families, if they have teenagers or whatever, they'll just take all of the phones, put them in a basket. Nobody has phones during this time. And frankly, when you think about it, dinner time is really not a full hour. It's really 15,
20
25
minutes.
minutes. You know what I mean? It's not a whole lot of time without your device. But if you feel, no matter what your love language is, no matter what it is that you're facing, if you can remove whatever the distraction is, be it a phone, TV, whatever it is, from the equation and focus on your partner, I think that's valuable.
I think what you're talking about right now, it's actually an epidemic. Because when I'm driving and I see somebody, I can recognize patterns of someone driving to know they're on their phone.
Yeah, that's sad.
Or
dangerous.
Yes, they're either going slow or they're drifting, lane creep, and I'm like, they're on their phone. So it's not just a problem in relationships; it's a problem that we need to address in general. We can have a whole podcast talking about that.
Listen, sometimes I'm in the car when I'm a passenger and you're driving, and I see someone who's on their phone, distracted driving. I do like this. I'm like, put the phone down.
You trying to blow the horn. I'd be like,
put the phone. It angers me that they are texting or they're actually holding their phone in front of their face.
It's just dangerous.
I've actually seen. I cannot even believe I have seen somebody with a book.
Oh my God! Yes, I think we were together. We saw that
on their wheel. I was like, I cannot even.
It is not that serious.
I can't even believe it.
But I think if we talk about make it worth it, I think you have to just really practice some intentionality in how you communicate. That will really make it worth it, because if you wreck it, we all know our partner. You spend enough time with somebody, you know when something's up, and just have that check in and ask them, what's going on, how are they feeling. Because then, like I talked about before, instead of getting, 3 or 4 injuries down the road, you deal with that one and you can remove it and it doesn't become a problem. To me, that's the biggest thing you can do to make it worth it, is address it at the source before the source is compounded, immeasurably. So how would you say, we can make it worth it to put first thing first?
I would say, look, I don't know. No.
Okay, that's a first.
No, I know, right. No, I actually think that asking the question, is now a good time? Or
you do that.
Being, just, you said intentionality. I think asking the question, when can I have your full attention? Can we put our phones away? That kind of stuff to make sure that you're giving your undivided attention to somebody. And knowing who your partner is, like just knowing what makes them feel first, is very, very valuable.
There's something that you do, like when you talk about is now a good time. You actually try and set time with me. You may say it's now a good time, but then you take it another step. Say, hey, let's just get some time together, and we'll land on a time that is good, so we can get one-on-one and focus. And a lot of times we will get away from the house, if we need to really be focused, to have a conversation at a coffee shop or something. And so I think you do a good job with that. So
thanks, I try.
Well, keep up the good work. So
well, this was good. Hopefully we got some people who are gonna put their partner first and put some love tokens into the bank and make sure that they are prioritizing. I think it's important that we keep that line of communication open, because frankly, it doesn't matter what your money does if your honey doesn't. How about that?
Exactly. So until next time,
we're out.
Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterandWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.